What's going on, world? It's Mr. Dreams to Reality, Coach Ford here with my latest edition of my blog. I'm uber excited about you guys being on here. So what's today's episode about is I just opened a kiosk store in my local area, and I learned a lot. And so this week's episode, I'm going to talk about customer service. I'm going to talk about the things that I've learned this week, having business friends that understand business and how important that is and who's in your circle and all those cliche things that you hear about, right? So if you're not in the business conversations, then turn it off. If you're a hustler, go-getter, and you feel stuck and you're like, I don't know what direction to go in, then this is the show vlog that you want to listen to, because I dropped some dope gems and bombs in here, and I will drink my coffee throughout the episode. So I just want y'all to know. And yes, I use a green screen. I love the background. I love the book shot. I don't like these episodes being too totally long. I want these episodes to run about 10 to 12 minutes. Get off here. I have a lot of stuff to do. All right. And so what are some of the things I have to do? First of all, it's opening my first store. Yay to me. Congratulations. The first 2 days was phenomenal of opening week. I call it opening week because this is the first week that I'm opening in August. Right, I'm off today, obviously, so my store hours are, I'm going to be closed on Sundays, and I'm going to work Monday through Saturday, 8 to 4, 8 to 12 for the most part, until my other job starts up. And then, I'm going to be working my other job while in my other time, right? So during the day, early morning hours, I'm going to be working on my business, and during this time, I'm going to be, after that time, I'm going to be working at my other job. Which is cool, right? Because what are you going to do? I know everybody's like, oh, I want to have time freedom. Time freedom to do what? To randomly take off when none of the rest of your friends are able to take off and they're busy living their lives. So there's some things that I've noticed online that is super hilarious to me. Just like the way people go about their business and go about those things. I'm not here to judge. I just think it's funny because we're all chasing the same thing, right? We're chasing that flexibility. I think a lot of times the term is flexibility. And when we're talking about flexibility, be able to take off whenever you need to, right? But when you run a business, and I learned this from some of my business friends yesterday, shout out to my business peeps, my business friends, and people that I know, and I say business friends, but it's nice that they run a business and they're my friends too, right? Why? Because they get it. You don't have to explain to people who run a business what it means. Say, hey, I just don't have time today, right? People who don't run a business or they're not comfortable with operations, they're not comfortable with understanding, hey, I got to create a schedule and a routine. And, one of my good friends, he's actually my barber, he said to me, he goes, what? Because I asked one of my other good friends, and she actually does my shirts for my company now. She goes, and I said, why do you think all these boutiques are closing, right? And she said something really profound to me. And it was a great conversation. And I would love to get him on the podcast and just having good conversations with him. Why? Because they've ran a business longer than I have. Now, I've ran a business, right? I've ran a basketball academy. Super easy for me to do. Right? So going into the retail clothing space, which I'm going to let everybody know right now, I'm not here to sell you anything. All right. I create offers. So my offers is my clothing brand. My offers is my book. My offers is me as a person. Like if you want to do a coaching and training with me, great. If you don't want to do a coaching training with me, great. I had a lady on my threads like basically say, I feel like you're trying to sell me something. And I instantly knew she was not going to do well in business in terms of you want a mentor to come mentor you for nothing, for free. Like my mentors, and I'm not saying mentors, you have to serve them. I'm not saying go find your mentor and say, well, you pay me $20,000. That's not what I'm saying. I have great mentors. I ask them a lot of questions. My friends are great resources. My business friends are great resources, right? My family and friends that aren't business people are great resources in terms of what is going on in the marketplace. Because quite frankly, I'm not studying the marketplace in terms of, for me, I'm studying in terms of them, like what do they want to buy? And so go check out my store. I love the Touchland story. I have that Touchland hand sanitizer in store. I have freeze-dried candy. I also have Ford X apparel. I have Ford X designed wine glasses. And then we have some swell ice cream chills, which have sold pretty well. I was actually pretty excited about those products selling. So you're like, when is he getting into the meat and grind? I'm in it, right? As Alex Hormozy would say, get to the meat and potatoes, right? Don't drag it out. And so I'm getting better at just going straight into the conversation, right? Because I hate whenever I click on a video and like this, if you're the same way, and they're taking forever to get to the punchline. I and I love people, and I've gotten better. And this is one thing that I've learned sitting in the shop for 12 hours is patience, understanding. Somewhere in that, once it starts hitting that slow period, right? And so it was fun. I learned a lot, and I was happy it wasn't super busy this weekend in terms of just people just stopping by the shop, and me not having the system and processes in place to take care of it. Now, it's really simple. Business in itself is easy, right? It's the ability to be patient. And as my buddy said, and going back to the conversation I had with the owners of these two respective businesses, and I love them for this, is he said, if people aren't comfortable with 2 to 3 years of eating it, right? That means they got to work the business themselves, and they got to really be on it, hustling, grinding. Then business ownership isn't for them. You just can't open a shop and think, oh, people are just gonna magically show up to this store because I want to own a boutique, right? And so, you know, he said that, and then she followed up with that, like understanding what you're doing. And so for me, I understand my profit margins. I understand how much I have to make a day. I understand, and I have my own personal goals, right? So my goals for my company is to make 25 sales a day. Now, I don't have the inventory right now to make 25 sales today, but we can do pre-sales, right? And we can put people on the waiting list. Yay, me, right? And so we're going to be putting people on the waiting list sooner rather than later, and building the relationships with people. And she's so profound, and I'm forever thankful for her this, and I hope she listens to this one day. She's talking about the customer experience, and I talk about this all the time. What is the customer experience? What are the things that we're doing, right? And me as a leader, finding out, okay, how do I get better as a leader? How do I get better as an individual? How do I improve my leadership skills? And I had to learn these lessons last week. I was doing a show called the Ask Coach Ford Show, and the people I was recording with was like, "Hey, we don't like your approach anymore." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." We had conversations, and we effectively ended that show. Why am I talking about it? Because you'll see on the other episodes that we're not doing this anymore, and it's fine. And and I'd encourage them to start their own show. So hopefully they do that, and much love and respect to those guys. Wish nothing for the best of them, but we had a good run, and the thing is, you grow and develop as an individual, and sometimes the direction you're going, people aren't going to stay, right? It may be a year, it may be a snapshot, and so no hard feelings, like getting around people who are smarter than you, and so some people take your approach as differently. And then I learned that lesson in customer service and experience, and being a leader and running an organization and dealing with people, right? And understanding that, people are going to have differences of opinions, and it's okay, right? And it's no sweat. And so I learned a lot this week. I learned a lot in terms of who I am as an individual. I'm learning a lot in terms of the direction I got to go. I'm learning a lot in terms of like, okay, where am I taking? And I know the vision, right? The ultimate vision is to serve and inspire. And so, as I'm creating product, and I'm figuring out the marketplace and figuring out things that people want to buy, not what I want to buy, but what people want to buy, and things that I can offer to them that's going to make it really easy to say yes to me, right? And don't make it hard for people to buy for you. And that's another thing that I found this weekend. And so my big focus and my big vision is, okay, making the shopping experience fun. So not for when I'm there, right? But when I'm not there, and getting uh, my future workers trained on not how to be me, but how to be themselves and really own the product. And I get it. It's not their business. Of course, they're not going to work harder than me. For example, one of my day two, one of the people that's supposed to be working a shift for me was like, "Hey, I want to spend time with my friends before they go back to school." And I'm like, "Okay, if that's what you got to do, then go do it." Right. And so that's just part of leadership. Like, it's my company, right? It's my business. Like, of course they're not going to care as much because it's not theirs. But I do think it's interesting for people that want jobs, like you want to work or you want to just have fun. And, understanding when you take on roles and responsibilities, like, you gotta own that, right? And so it makes sense on why. And my friend said this. She's like, that's why they're not us. That's why they're not running businesses. That's why, there's employees, and that's why there's churn. And, and that makes sense. Like, I'm just a different individual. My brain doesn't shut off from these conversations, right? And so I think me figuring out who I am more, right? I knew who I was, but I didn't know how to cultivate who I was becoming because I was afraid of other people's opinions. And I'll be honest now, I'm not afraid of other people's opinions, but we have a family, it's a little bit harder to break away into the entrepreneur space and say, okay, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. I'm just gonna do this. Right. And that's really difficult. And so I think for anybody, for me, like talking sports and business, that's the thing that I do, talking leadership, right? There's a lot of things that parallel sports and life. And so I think for me, it's learning how to do this, like how to do this better, like with my vlog. My vlog is me getting on here, talking to people, having conversations. And if you want to buy stuff, great. You can go to my stand store. You can come shop locally with me, or you can buy stuff on my store and then I'll ship it to you. We have a drop shipping method. So I'm really figuring out. So it's taking me, I started this in February, March, April, May, June, July. So 6 months to get this understanding and figure out, okay, what in the world do I have? What do I really have going on in terms of building a business and building a brand and understanding, okay, I know I can build a business. I know I can build a brand and being confident at it and then grabbing that by the horns and saying, this is what I'm going to do. So I want to keep these episodes short. I don't want people having to spend too much time on long episodes. But hey, go check out some of the latest episodes. Do me a favor, like and subscribe. Go check out the FordXStore.com, or you can check me out at the Stand Store. Or you can check out my other social medias at Coach Ford Speaks, or you can search me on Facebook as Coach Ford Speaks, or Justin being Justin, right? My Justin being Justin is my page, right? That's where it, excuse me, it's a smorgasbord of all my thoughts and opinions, right? And then Coach Ford Speaks is setting up for something else, but I think I'm going to take a lot of my pages down and just focus on my one page, which is getting singular focus. And that's what you'll notice is I become more singular focused. And how do you become more singular focused? I think you have to try and experiment. No, I don't think. I know you have to try and experiment. So if I were to title this episode today, how to develop singular focus, and you develop singular focus by, and I'm not telling this because then that would be misleading. Okay, so here's what I learned. I'm going to title the episode. Here's what I learned in the first 2 days of opening my kiosk. That's what I'm going to title this, and then I'm going to come back and do a follow-up video on how to develop singular focus or laser focus. All right, have a great day. Oh, do me a favor, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Share this with people. If you're not into business content, then you're totally not going to like this. But if you're in a business and you're here to learn and you want to grow and develop and get better, then like and subscribe. If not, it's totally no sweat. I'm doing this to get better at YouTube. I'm doing this to get better at social media. I'm doing this so I can improve my brand presence at me as an individual to get better, right? And so when I look back at some of the videos, I cringe. I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I doing, right? And then some of the videos were good. And so figuring out, okay, what is getting better and how to improve. Like the bookshelf. I love the bookshelf. Okay, have a good day.